Are you tired of the same old pro wrestling? Then check out the amazing action on Powerslam.tv, the biggest indie pro wrestling channel in the world. Get over 4,000 hours of the best pro wrestling events from over 110 of the biggest names in the industry from over 15 countries around the globe. Get your free trial today at Powerslam.tv.
The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
Don't you want to sound rich?
Welcome everyone to episode 4 of All Things Elite. Yes, I am sure that it's episode 4. I am your host, Floyd Johnson, and with me today as a special guest co-host is Jeremy Donovan. How you doing today, Jeremy?
I'm doing good, man. I'm feeling elite.
Yes, I'm glad you are feeling elite. Our other co-host, Jordan, who usually steers the ship, he is not well this week. So I told Jeremy that I was going to do the show myself. He's like, I'll jump on with you, and I was like, thank God, because that would probably be, in my opinion, like the most boring hour and a half of podcasting ever, because I was like, I don't have anybody to bounce anything off of. And we're like, Floyd, what do you think about this? Well, I think that's a really good idea, Floyd, because I just wrote it down. So yeah. So no.
Yeah, man. I've been chomping at the bit to talk about some all elite wrestling. So I'm glad. I mean, I'm sad Jordan is missing, but I'm also glad I had the opportunity to kind of jump on here.
All right. And just to let everyone know, like I like to start, we are recording on Friday night, February 15th. It's about 10:14 Eastern. So all news that I have is up to date as of that time. So if anything happens before the show comes out, that's why it's not covered. All Things Elite is brought to you by Powerslam TV, where you can get the first month free by using promo code Social Suplex. I gotta remember to get that in. You know, y'all, I listen to your show to learn how to do some professional sounding radio, because
I try, man.
I was about to say, because, you know, I do my own show Around the Ring, and it's just kind of like, we get on, and we just start talking. It's like, there's nothing really professional about it all the time, but, yeah. So, yeah, definitely thank you for that, but we need to start where we need to start. I promise every week that we will get the winner out in the first 5 minutes. Still hope that you hang around for the rest of the show. But our second, so we got over 700 people eligible. And again, how I did it is I put it in a randomizer. And I looked over to my fiance, who gives no craps about wrestling at all. And I said, pick a number 1 through however many people were eligible. It was like 778 or something like that. And she picked a number, and that's the winner. This week, the number is the lucky person that my fiance picked is at Matt Socially. That's at Matt Socially, SOCIALLY. I'll contact Matt. Don't worry about that, and we'll get his hoodie sent out to him. I just want to say to all the people that are listening, I really appreciate you liking, tweeting, following us, and I hope you continue to follow us. We will do more contests and more giveaways in the future. And these this is not comped or anything. It's just I just want you to give the show a chance, give the Social Suplex a chance, and so we definitely want you to remember subscribe, download, listen to all the great shows on the Social Suplex. But this show, All Things Elite, drops every Saturday morning. Did I do that right, Jeremy?
Yeah, you did. It was great, man. Yeah, every Saturday morning, you gotta have an elite day. Start your day off listening to All Things Elite. Floyd and Jordan do a great job of, like he says, they get all the news they can up until the point they record. So this shows we're gonna keep you informed here on this show, on this network. So tune in, sit back, relax, whether you're working, driving, whatever you're doing. And let's talk some All Things Elite.
All right. Well, just to let you know, just the one stat, we had 52 followers just from opening the account. We ran this contest. We're almost at 800. So that thing blew up. I just want to reiterate that I appreciate everyone that followed, or retweeted. We did the best we could to keep everything even and keep it as fair as possible. Like I said, I asked the most attached person that I know to pick the number of the winner. So it was right down the middle. So definitely gonna get that out to him. So double big news of the week. Double or Nothing sells out in a combined 30 minutes.
Yeah, man. Between the pre-sale and then the on-sale ticket day.
Yeah, the pre-sale went on sale Monday, right? Because it was before you did your show, so it was like Monday, Monday at 11, and I was online trying to get tickets. And just a little story about that: I was in the little waiting room, right? And it got to 8 minutes after the time, and I was like, "This is not right." So I literally went on through my phone, and there was this other option where Access was selling premium tickets. It's akin to the Ticketmaster Platinum tickets, right? So they had the Section 10 row in, the ones I got, and they were $275 a ticket. So they were about $150 more than what the base price was, but they were called the premium tickets. So that's where I actually bought my tickets. I actually didn't even get through on the pre-sale. By the time
I heard a couple kind of nightmare stories about people trying to get in that pre-sale. Like one of my buddies messaged me. He's like, "Man, I got stuck in the waiting room and I got screwed over and didn't get tickets."
Yeah, but at the 25-minute mark, it finally got through, and it said I didn't. And it was like no tickets because I was trying to get 3. Then I went down to 1 and said no tickets, and then my Twitter refreshed, and it said it was sold out. And I was like, "Well, I'm glad I did I'm glad I went ahead and went through the premium section." I was like, it was a little more, but I'm in the building. I didn't have to buy it third party, and it's just like. Yeah, so they do that in 26 minutes. 2 days later on Wednesday, around the same time, they go to general sale. Dave Meltzer said there was only a few hundred more tickets. They had sold like 90% of the tickets, and they sell out in 4 minutes. So Double or Nothing, as of now, is completely sold out. What do you think about that?
Dude, it's incredible. There was a lot of doubt coming from some fans, some people who don't like the Elite, from wrestling podcasters, journalists, broadcasters. A lot of people were questioning, can these guys do it again? Was All In just a fluke, kind of a, out of nowhere, just kind of miracle thing that happened? But these guys kind of shut everybody up, and they sold out once again. And, all the Elite haters out there trying to, find all the excuses in the world for why these guys sold out again. But I mean, the product is hot. I mean, the fan base for the Elite are diehard. They are rabid. They want an alternative. They want something new, and that's what All Elite Wrestling seems like it's going to provide. And the fans are they're really starving for this thing.
Yeah, and I truly believe that's one of the reasons you picked the show, because I am one of those rabid fans. And the people I'm taking to the show don't even go to wrestling shows. I've told them they're lapsed fans. They're people that watched WWE back in the 90s, and I'm like, I know you didn't watch wrestling before, but give this a chance. Give this a try. This is going to be different than what you're used to. This is a bigger spectacle. This is they go out and give it all, every week. They don't use the same wrestling tropes as other people use. I'm like, just give it a shot. And then as soon as I say Chris Jericho, the friend of mine that lives in Vegas is like, I'm in. And he actually said, I'm all in, which I thought was hilarious because he never even heard of All In.
Dude, that's hilarious.
He's like, I'm all in because he heard it's Chris Jericho. So when Chris Jericho cuts a promo saying basically he sold out, sold out the show, there's a lot of truth to that. He's the name people know.
Yeah, Jericho, he's definitely a big draw for just wrestling fans in general. And then, like you mentioned, lapsed fans that have grown up that maybe watched some Monday Night Wars, remember Jericho from WCW, or maybe they saw Jericho, the Y2J on the early 2000s during the Monday Night War era. Chris Jericho's a very familiar name. And even if you kind of drop in and out for big pay-per-views, Jericho's a name over the last, 10, 20 years that's always been featured in a prominent spot. So, yeah, I mean, All Elite Wrestling signing up Jericho was a great move. He's going to definitely attract casual fans, lapsed fans. He's going to bring everybody in.
Yeah, I have a secret admission, and I don't turn off the show after you hear this. I have never been a Chris Jericho guy.
Wow.
Ever. And his when they put him over the Rock and Stone Cold and he was the undisputed champion, he has his promos do something for me, but his work never really did anything for me. It's just like it doesn't connect with me. I don't know why. I have no problem with Chris Jericho again, but
what about the second run where he had the ladder match with Shawn Michaels and was kind of doing the suit wearing, big word spouting Jericho?
It was cool. It was cool. It was felt like he was, the Miz was kind of, in that area too. You know what I mean? It was just like, and I was a bigger Miz fan. I'm like I said, it's not but really the crazy Chris Jericho from New Japan, that's what sold me. That's what made me this dude's one of the greatest.
Yeah, Jericho's done a really great job of just continuing to reinvent himself throughout the years. Once Jericho announced that he was going to New Japan Pro Wrestling, I was like, okay, that's interesting. I wonder what are we just gonna get normal, Y2J, WWE, Chris Jericho? But he created this alpha character, and even that character he's evolved from the very first time he debuted that. And so, yeah, man, this guy's just reinventing himself and just changing things up and keeping people interested.
Yeah, he is very much. I'm like, he's the Madonna of pro wrestling. Every time he comes back, he's something different. He's unique, and he does it really, really well. And it's like, even though I wasn't a fan, I would tell you Chris Jericho was great. You know what I mean? He's in Indy. He should be in people's top 5 or top 10 list. It's like Hogan. It's like when people talk about the greatest wrestlers of all time, I'm like, Hogan has to be in the conversation. Have I ever enjoyed a Hulk Hogan match? No. But he's in the conversation. He drew more than anybody. So he has to be in the conversation. It's like Jericho might not have at the time been my cup of tea, but come on. My friends 20 years later still talk about his debut.
Right. I mean, if you look at his longevity from the time that he started in the business, when he was wrestling in that Smoky Mountain in Cornette's promotion, and then stuff in Japan, and then going to WCW, ECW, coming into WWF, and just being in and out of WWE, and now in New Japan, All Elite. This guy has been around for over 20 years and has been able to put out high quality work. He's been able to draw. He's proven that he can be in the main event. We've seen with New Japan that his match with Omega and the matches with Naito have boosted, the subscriber number for New Japan World.
Yeah, and didn't him and Evil sell out a building?
Yeah, for the Power Struggle tour in November.
Yeah, and that's crazy because it's like, you don't think Jericho versus Evil is going to put a lot of asses in seats, but it did, So that's pretty.
Yeah, I mean, Jericho's a draw. Evil, I know it's not really New Japan, but just real quick, Evil is just one of these guys that the company's been kind of slowly getting behind, and the fans in Japan love Evil, so that was kind of like a perfect little spotlight for him. But yeah, definitely Jericho, I would say, was you can give most of the credit to that because everybody was just interested in what Jericho's doing in this whole, alpha, wild man, crazy Terry Funk-like character has been, grabbing people's attention.
All right. I do want to give a few stats from Cody on the tickets. There was tickets purchased from all 50 states domestically, plus Puerto Rico and Dominican. Is that what's DC? What's DC? Oh, Washington DC. Duh.
Washington.
Yeah, duh. nine countries: Canada, UK, Mexico, Australia, Costa Rica, Finland, Germany, Panama, and Austria. First same day sellout for a pro wrestling event in Vegas ever. And he said they will, after they do production, they will see if they can open up a few more seats. But when those seats open up, people will be going going for them. So this leads, the whole selloutness leads to something I wanted to talk about was talks about complaints of scalping. Now, yeah, go. What were you saying?
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. Yeah, we live in our wrestling world is honestly, it seems big, but it's kind of small. You see a lot of people talking, but this seemed to has blown up wrestling Twitter. Talks of scalping and complaints of scalping. I actually saw someone at Cody Rhodes directly and like cuss him out. I don't remember exactly what they said, and they's like, "You said you were going to try to help with scalping, and you did nothing." And I was like, I mean, nothing could be further from the truth. What are your thoughts on this situation?
So, I mean, every major sporting event, there are going to be a percentage of scalpers. I mean, there's no, really foolproof way to stop that. I mean, you can try with pre-sale codes and try to limit tickets, but at the end of the day, scalpers are going to find a way to get their hands on tickets and jack the prices up and sell them on the secondary market. Now, I know, like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of anti-elite fans for whatever reason. They're just totally upset at the fact that All Elite Wrestling has all this buzz and is getting all this attention, and they're trying to find any little excuse, anything they can poke at All Elite Wrestling, and now they're trying to get with this whole scalping thing, and it's like, There's scalpers for WWE events. I'm sure there's probably scalpers for New Japan events. There's scalpers for football games, basketball games, concerts. I mean, that's just how it works.
Scalping became such a dedicated thing that in their own way, Ticketmaster even scalps their own tickets. The Ticketmaster Platinum ticket, where it's, you're in section 107 and you're row 3. Well, this is an extra special seat, so we're going to charge you 4 times what the person 4 rows behind you is paying.
Right.
Ticketmaster is scalping their own tickets. and no one says anything about that. But they're
yeah, I think
they're bitching at Cody. I'm like, this is a new startup business doing their first show. Shit, I wouldn't care at all. Long as my tickets are sold and I'm getting paid. Now,
exactly.
10 years down the line, and I know it's going to sell out, maybe I'll start getting a little more particular about that. But, I mean, like, only like artists and people that know that they're going to sell out do this. Like, John Mayer. My friend's a big fan of John Mayer. She went to Tulsa, and John Mayer was anti-scalping. So what he did is you have to show the card. You have to scan the card that you originally bought the tickets with to get in the building.
Oh, that's a good method.
That's a good method. But John Mayer knows he's going to sell out.
Right.
Charlie Ross, random R&B singer from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, doesn't care. It doesn't care if who buys the tickets as long as his building sells out. John Mayer was like, okay, he could be a little more judicious. And another name, I'm going to use this name, even though there's a lot of stigma behind it and people don't like him, but I'm using it for this specific situation. Louis C.K., he did in 2016, did a 22 city tour, right? And what he did is he sold the tickets direct from him, charged the same price, right? And if he saw the tickets on any other outlet, they got like had to scan into like on StubHub or anything like that. It was even $1 more than what you bought the ticket for. He literally emailed the original seller, told them they were canceling the tickets, and then put the tickets back up for sale.
Wow.
That's a guy that hates scalping, but he also knew
Yeah.
he was going to sell out the tickets. I actually did a little research on this, on what different people have done to prevent scalping. The one thing I did know is everyone that did it was established.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Once you're an established act and you know you have a diehard fan base that's going to, sell your concert out or your event out as soon as you put the tickets out, you can build a team to kind of focus in on different methods to stop scalping. Now, All Elite Wrestling, yes, they have a rabid fan base, but at the same time, there was some doubt of how fast will this show sell out. And they're a startup company. They're not really focused in on stopping scalping right now. They're trying to put together their roster. They're trying to put together dates, locations, and there's a lot of details that they're focusing on that scalpers are not on top of the priority for them, I'm sure.
Yeah, and it's Vegas. It was Memorial Day weekend. When they announced it, that was one of the things I pointed out to my friends that were talking about going. It's a very popular weekend to go to Vegas. So it was like it was going to be harder to get in. Like plane tickets are, even though you can get a little discount from them, they're still expensive. They're still twice as much as you would be paying at any other time of the year. So the plane tickets are expensive. Hotels, depending on where you stay, are expensive. They try to assist with the discounts there. It's just like they're trying to assist to keep the prices down. The tickets to this thing, as far as the tickets that you bought from them, were way below what they could have got.
Yeah, and I remember the ticket pricing for All In. I mean, I remember buying the tickets for that. I'm like, man, the prices are very, very reasonable compared to a WWE pay-per-view or even sometimes maybe a WWE house show. I think, All Elite Wrestling, they're doing a great job of realizing that, fans might not have the biggest wallet, and they're trying to make this as affordable as possible.
Yeah, I'm going to WrestleMania, to be in the 100th section of WrestleMania, and this is like after you get past the platinum seats, it was $430, and that was after fees or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's more than a first row seat. That's more than a first row seat to Double or Nothing. And that's me. You're on a football field. So you're thinking there's the floor section, then there's the risers, then there's the 100 section. That's like the third furthest, third closest section from where you're going to see the ring. So this is not a really close seat. And you still paying 3 times, or what? I guess it would be twice as much. And that was from Ticketmaster. That wasn't StubHub. That wasn't anything. That was from Ticketmaster. It was still twice as much as a Double or Nothing is charging for a first row seat.
That's crazy.
No, I'm just saying. And they, like I said, they have a passionate fan base. They know their fan base would pay a little bit more. They know they will, but they don't take advantage of that. I think it's. But in the end, it's still a business.
Exactly.
Their goal is to make money.
And they're making up the rest of that ticket sale money from T-shirts, I'm sure.
Oh, definitely T-shirts. Like I said, the packages that they're running with Starrcast, even though Starrcast is separate from AEW, they have run some different packages, and I mean they're making their money. Don't get me wrong. I'm like, but they're a business. That's the goal. Their goal. When Tony Khan, when the billionaire puts his name, or his dad is the billionaire, but they put their name on a product. This wasn't some social experiment. Their goal is to make money.
I've heard.
What?
I've heard several interviews with Tony Khan, and you can just tell. I mean, he's been thinking about starting a wrestling company for a while now, and he waited until he had the right business opportunity and the right talent to do this thing. So yeah, he's in this to make money, and you can see he runs and works for multiple companies, multiple successful companies. So this guy knows how to run a business. He wants to be successful, and he's always driving to be the best in whatever he's doing.
Yeah, after I listened to that thing with Chris Jericho, I mean, I of course am all about the company, and we do a show on I do a show on the company, but it was like the confidence level I had that this is going to work went way up. I mean,
yeah.
if he wasn't a worker, I mean, he's not a worker, so, but he worked me. Because he got me like, okay, there's no way this can fail. He's crossed all his T's and dotted his I's. He knows what's going to happen. And that's, that's how he had me after that, because it was just like, even when Jericho tried to take him a certain way, like, oh man, you're doing this because you're a fan, he'd bring Jericho back. It's like, no. I'm not doing this because I'm a fan. I'm doing this because this is a great business opportunity. I want to put out a good product, but in the end, he made it clear his goal is to make money. So
exactly, yeah, that's what all businesses should want to be doing, is making money.
Yes.
And so I know a lot of people are just saying Tony Khan's just like a money mark. He's just this smart mark with money that just wants to have his own wrestling federation, but that's further from the truth. This guy, like you mentioned, he waited until the right time. He was paying attention to when certain talents' contracts are going to be up. He was surveying the market, seeing the buzz behind the Elite and these Bullet Club guys, and seeing all the merchant hot topics. And he waited for the right time to, start this business opportunity.
Yeah, and he was like, the TV rights deals, they're throwing a lot of money at live sports. I mean, in essence, to not try to over-explain that right now, TV channels are throwing lots of money at live sports because that's just what they're into right now. And so to come out with this product, he's taking advantage of a boon right now, which is great. This is what you want. And it's just like, I mean, I like I said, it's smart. It's like, I had a lot of the misconceptions that a lot of people had before. I was like, oh, he's just a guy with a lot of money that wanted a wrestling company. Believe me, I had that thought. That before I heard this, that was like, oh, that's cool. If I had $1 billion, I would start a wrestling company too,
Yeah.
But no, he came in and basically said, Floyd, you're wrong. I actually thought about this. This is something we can do. There is no one other than the WWE putting out wrestling at the production level that the WWE does. So there's room for competition, or AKA an alternative. Now, and it's not competition. Believe me, he kept using the term alternative. He never once said it was competition. Jericho said, we're going to war. And he's like, no, I don't think we're going to war,
Right. Yeah. I think a lot of fans, we want to relive the Monday Night War era, and as soon as another big promotion is coming up, we immediately think that, it's going to be direct competition to WWE. There's going to be this big ratings war and blah, 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 blah. But that's not exactly it. I mean, there is going to be some competition because now there's another alternative in the market. We've already been seeing tons of reports and rumors of guys in other promotions being unhappy or asking for releases or wanting to leave because now there is opportunity in the market to shop around and get the best deal you can. And it's not just all Elite Wrestling. I mean, Ring of Honor is out here outbidding for talent. So, the boys have multiple promotions to go now. And so now they have the opportunity to be like, oh, well, if you're not using me correctly, if I'm not happy, I can see what's out there for me. I don't have to be stuck in the WWE if I don't want to be.
Yeah, and another point that he brought up is that they were looking for fresh talent. That they're not going to do something that other companies done. I'm not trying to throw any companies under the bus, but Impact Wrestling, where every time someone left the WWE, they were immediately pushed to the top in Impact.
Right. What's Christian Cage doing in the Impact Zone? What's Rhino doing in the Impact Zone?
What is Aaron Rex, aka Damian Sandow, doing in the Impact Zone? Those are the ones that really hurt. It was like, I'm not saying, like, I love Damian Sandow. When I met him, he was very nice to me. I love Chavo Guerrero. But they were very mid to low level WWE people, and then you have them come in. Aaron Rex is like I think it was a grand champion. Chavo Guerrero's competing with your world champion. I don't care what you say. It lowered the value of your title.
Right.
No matter what.
Perception's reality, and these guys came off of a product where, like you mentioned, they were mid to low card acts, and now they're coming into your company and cleaning out your talent. What does that say about your talent?
Yeah.
That these guys are not as good as low card, mid card WWE guys.
So you're writing the narrative that the WWE wants out there. You're writing that same narrative. That's the narrative WWE's pushed. Our worst guys are better than their best guys. And then you come in and put their worst guys, not as far as talent or whatever, but what they have pushed, how they've been pushed at the other company, and you've pushed them like to the top of your company like immediately. There was no build. There was no, hey, he had to step away from the WWE. He's doing it his own way, and you slowly build him over a year. No, they come in and they're fighting for your titles in like 2 weeks.
Right.
And that's what I don't want from AEW. I mean, that's what I don't.
Now, obviously, if you get like a Kurt Angle, like TNA did back in the day, that was a main eventer, WrestleMania main eventer, former WWE champion. Definitely, that's a guy that you're going to utilize in a main event position.
And I'm one of those people. I thought they utilized Christian well. I've always was a Christian guy, and I thought they utilized him well. But he was an Intercontinental champion. He was the Intercontinental champion in the WWE, and it's like, okay, now he's like two-time TNA champion. It's like, yeah, that doesn't really. It's like, I don't know if I can, I don't know if I can follow that, and it's like, so that was one of those things that concerned. He's like, we're not going to sign everybody, if you're not fresh, you're not bringing something fresh, I'm going to say no. He was talking about the OWE guys, and he flat out said, he's like, have you seen these guys? He's like, I wouldn't have booked them if I hadn't seen them.
Exactly, yeah.
I feel like Vince McMahon pays a lot of people he has never seen.
Yeah, you hear stories of talents like, trying to get one-on-one time with him, but he's so busy. And with the size of the WWE roster now, it's impossible for Vince to have significant face-to-face time with the majority of the roster.
Yeah, it's like if you put Keith Lee and Montez Ford next to each other, would he be able to tell you which one is which?
Probably not.
Because they're on the NXT. It's like, Paul handles that. I don't know who those guys are. I don't know who those guys are until they feel for me need to know. And it's just like, and I just picked two random guys, but I feel like that could be anybody, anybody there. I don't think he could probably tell you the difference between Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. I'm pretty sure he can tell you which one is which.
Right.
It's like that's Burch and Lorcan. I don't know which one is Burch and which one's Lorcan, but hey, whatever. But on to other things. Kenny Omega. Last time we talked, it was right after Kenny Omega signed, but before I heard the Kenny Omega Dave Meltzer interview. I know you've heard that Kenny Omega Dave Meltzer interview because you cover New Japan, and him leaving New Japan's a big damn deal to your show. So this is actually a mutually beneficial section. Did he say anything in the interview that surprised you?
So yeah, I mean, I was very surprised when he mentioned, New Japan kind of being like the third option for him, pretty much the worst option. He had offers from WWE and All Elite Wrestling and New Japan, and New Japan was the bottom of the barrel for him. And Kenny's a guy who's been in Japan for over 10 years. He was living in Japan and he speaks the language. I mean, the people there see him pretty much as a Japanese wrestler. And with his popularity, you could see that. And so it was very surprising that New Japan was the kind of like the last option for him.
What surprised me is because my New Japan career started as far as me watching the show the night he fought Omega. I guess it was one at Wrestle Kingdom, and Cody debuted on that show, I believe, against Juice. Or was it Kota Ibushi? It was Kota Ibushi Who was it?
That was Cody's second Wrestle Kingdom.
Okay, so first Wrestle Kingdom. So is the first Wrestle Kingdom is when I started watching it, and Kenny Omega was amazing, and it's something I never seen, and I've been like addicted to New Japan. I listen to your show regularly. Like before we knew who each other was, I was listening to your show, because I was trying to educate myself on New Japan Wrestling because I had never watched it regularly. So that being said, it was like, but it was so much better than what I'd seen before. Like it literally became my 1A promotion. I needed to watch New Japan Wrestling when it was on. I really loved it. It was like they told stories with their bodies. They're very realistic, very sports style. I mean, this is me putting over New Japan, which doesn't really need to be put over. It's an amazing product. But that being said, when he said that he often made lemonade out of lemons, like they gave him crap storylines and he made them into something, that shocked the hell out of me.
Yeah, and I'm very curious to see like what in particular he was talking about. For me, I'm guessing maybe when he was the cleaner, and he was like the junior heavyweight in Bullet Club, and he would like come out with the broom and do the whole like sweeping thing. Maybe the whole junior run, maybe, because I mean, as a heavyweight, I feel like he was he's facing Okada and Naito and Ishii and Ibushi and all these top guys, and were in pretty good storylines. So I'm curious to see like what exactly he was talking about.
Yeah, I would like him to elaborate that, because since I started watching, he was a top 4 guy. He was in the main event or the semi-main event every night. Even when he was doing like 4-on-4 matches, it was close to the end of the show, and he was booked and like never, like very rarely lost. So I was like, what is, and then like I said, this is me coming in late, like, what the hell did he mean? You know what I mean? It's very confusing because, and it was weird because when he was talking about it, he was saying, well, I could have went to WWE and not fought at all, or I could have went to New Japan and basically had to come up with everything, or he felt like he was saying All Elite was kind of the best of both worlds. And that the fact that he got to wrestle with his friends. And I don't know if he's just, he's an executive vice president, so he very much could just be putting over All Elite Wrestling, just trying to make everyone think it's the place to be. But it's just like, WWE was second? That didn't sit right with me.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. He was like, I thought it might be pretty good to just go and shut my brain off and just have them tell me what to do and what to say. But definitely surprised with New Japan being the third option and kind of stuff he was saying. And also, I thought it was very interesting. He brought up Kota Ibushi, and he says he still wants to tag with him. And he was saying, expect to see Kota Ibushi in All Elite Wrestling soon. He's like, not Double or Nothing, but in the near future. But then it came out after that interview that Kota Ibushi has signed a multi-year deal with New Japan Pro Wrestling. So now I'm wondering, are these two going to kind of be the bargaining chips for both of these companies working together?
Yeah.
Is AEW going to let them get Kenny if they can get Kota?
Yeah, that's why I was like, this is another piece of news. I was going to actually, that it's been mutually beneficial because I thought we were getting Kota. I thought AEW was getting Kota. Man, I like wrote him down on the roster list. He was like in gray. He was in gray because it hadn't been official. But, I pretty much wrote Kota down. I was like, if Kenny's coming, Kota's coming. And then I'm listening. Then I watched the show. And I listened to your show. And then Dave Meltzer announces that 2-year deal. Kota doesn't sign with anyone.
Yeah, this was a real big deal because I know a lot of people might not realize this, but Kota Ibushi has been a freelancer. He has never been under New Japan contract, has never been under contract with anybody, and that's why he was allowed to work in the Cruiserweight Classic while he was still wrestling in Japan because he wasn't tied down to anybody. And so him signing a contract is a huge deal because, that's been like the one thing that everybody says has held him back in New Japan was not having a full-time contract where they can, put everything fully behind him. Well, now he has that.
Yeah, I mean, WWE basically bet on him. They like, we're going to put you in this. From what I understand, every rumor I've ever heard, he was going to win. Because they were sure they were going to be able to talk him into a deal before the Cruiserweight Classic was actually over. He turned them down, flat out. Him and ZSJ. Nope. No clue. I don't want to be. And it's like, wow, you turned down the WWE, pretty much wanted to build their division around you. The 205 Live division was going to be built around Kota Ibushi. They said no. And it's just like, okay, well, if he's not signing with WWE, he hasn't signed with New Japan at the time, he's not signing with anybody ever. So you want to talk about when people say, because I heard Voice of the Wrestling, he's like, well, New Japan has done nothing, kind of fell back. Getting Kota Ibushi to sign a contract it's the nuclear bomb of wrestling. He's such an amazing talent.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, now the doors are wide open for what they could do with him, and I expect him to have, another phenomenal year, and I expect him to be kind of pushed in the main event throughout the year. But part of me there's a part of me that kind of understands like Kota not going to AEW, because I've always heard stories of how he hates traveling, and just he likes living in Japan. And anytime he comes here, he always gets lost. So I can understand him not kind of hesitant to sign an AEW contract.
The piece of information that made it even for me and cleared up everything was when I believe Kenny said that he has a wrestling school in Japan, and I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because he's going to need to be in Japan most of the time. And a big thing with Kenny is that he seemed like he wants to mostly focus on being in the Golden Lovers. He feels like there's stories still on the table with them as a tag team, more than he was seen focusing on his single career. Did you get that same idea?
Yeah, I did. I mean, yeah, and the Golden Lovers, when they reunited, a lot of people were hoping for a tag title run or something, or for them to be in the World Tag League, but they only really had like special highlight matches against the Young Bucks and a few other teams. So definitely feel like Omega feels like there's definitely money making potential with a run with the Golden Lovers. So it'll be interesting to see if AEW and New Japan can work things out, and we can get Kenny on some New Japan shows, and we can get Kota on some All Elite shows.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any reason why they shouldn't work together. I think it would be mutually beneficial.
Yeah.
Because I have this strong feeling that All Elite's presentation is going to be different from New Japan's.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And like me, I love, you, all of us, we just love professional wrestling. So in our eyes, there can never be enough good professional wrestling, can there?
Oh no!
It's like oh,
all good wrestling you can.
Yeah, so it's like it just feels like we're in a system right now where people feel like you have to pick one company or another, and I'm like, well, I mean, my TV turns channels, so yeah. I can watch WWE, and when it goes off at 10, and I'll be like, oh, well, I'm in America, so New Japan's about to start at like 1 a.m. Why do I have to? Why do I have to say, oh, I don't have to pick them? When is the last time a New Japan show and a WWE show was on at the same time?
Never.
It doesn't happen. So why do you have to pick?
Right.
It's like no. Yeah. It's like why do you?
I watch everything.
Yeah. So to say, I feel like it's going to be the same way with AEW. They're not going to start. AEW's not going to start running shows on January 4th. They're not going to start, running shows on WrestleMania Sunday. You know what I mean? They're not going to do that. They're putting their flag, trying to plant their flag on Memorial Day weekend, and it looks like, based on the schedule that came out that we can talk about now, they look like they're doing that on Memorial Day weekend and Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
So yeah. So there was a rumored AEW schedule that was floating around the internet. Did you see it?
Yes, I did. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this perfectly leads into it. So May 25th is Double or Nothing, already sold out. We also got a June show. It's unspecified show to be in the U.S. Hey, can you get more vague?
I know, right?
It's like,
It's going to be in a state.
it's going to be a show. There's going to be a show. That's all I can tell you. I don't really know
Going to be
where.
a show. There's going to be a show in a building in a state that has a city.
Yes, I'm like, okay, so I don't know about that one. We can't speak to that one because we don't know what the hell that's going to be. The July show is supposed to be the show in Jacksonville. Actually, Tony Khan gave it a name and I didn't write it down.
Fight for the Fallen.
Thank you. I even have it on my notes. It's unnamed show, and I meant to update it, and I didn't. So, Fight for the Fallen. That's going to be in Jacksonville. Portions of proceeds going to anti-gun crime charities. So that's good.
And I'll be doing everything I can to go to that show. I'm in Tampa, Florida, so Jacksonville's a few hours away. So definitely planning on going to that one.
One of my friends, who kind of inside source almost, kind of gave me the idea that it's going to be on the same weekend that I'm getting married. So I will not be there. Needless to say, I'm getting married in the middle of July. And it's funny because for our honeymoon we're going to Destin, and I'm like, I really come on, it's me. So I did Google how far Destin was from Jacksonville, and believe me, I was hoping it was less time than it was, because it's like 6 hours away, because it's like deep Panhandle. But I was hoping it was only 2 or 3 hours away, because believe me, there was going to be some negotiation with the fiance. I'm just saying, I'm like, we're already here. Why not?
There'll be a little detour in the honeymoon.
I'm like, dude, I will buy you anything you want. Just let me go. Then August of 2019 show I will definitely not be at. It's looking at the Royal Albert Hall in London, England. The cons definitely have a football club in England, so they definitely want to have strong ties there. WWE, it's kind of going to be cool because WWE has run the Royal Albert Hall, so it'll be like to see how AEW does it versus how like the NXT shows have done it. That's going to be pretty cool. I think to my boys in the UK, they're going to pack that. I think that's going to be another quick sellout.
Yeah, and I love the Royal Albert Hall venue. This looks so awesome on NXT UK, and I think it's a great venue for wrestling. So definitely excited that AEW will be using that.
Yeah, and it definitely doesn't look like there's a bad seat in the house, which is awesome.
Yeah.
In September, Labor Day weekend, looks like we're gonna get the sequel to All In called All Out. This is gonna be the last pay-per-view prior to the TV tapings beginning. They said from what I'm seeing, it's not confirmed, but it looks like it might be the Sears Center. Sears Center might not be big enough for how they're moving tickets.
Yeah, because All In, that sold out quickly, and both of us, we were there live for All In, and we saw how packed that place was, and the energy and the atmosphere. So yeah, they're probably going to want to find out something bigger. It could still be in the Chicago area, but I know there are bigger arenas that they could potentially run.
Yeah, because there's the Allstate Arena and the United Center, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I don't think WWE doesn't run the United Center a lot. It's mostly in the Allstate, right?
Right, yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe United Center? I don't know. I think it will be another one that sells out because, again, it's not a short drive, but, hey, Chicago's a drive away from me. I'm going. I'm going to be there at that one. And the last October 2019 weekly TV starts. So, again, the rumors. I've heard TNT, TBS. Have you heard any other channels?
No, those are kind of the same ones I've been hearing. I listened to Tony Khan on Wrestling Observer Radio. I believe that was sometime last week. And, they kept asking him questions about, like, the TV deal. And he was like, I can't give anything away yet. I don't want to spoil anything. So to me, it almost sounded like, the TV deal is pretty much done, but he just didn't want to say anything about it. He's trying to keep it close to the vest. So, yeah, I'm very curious to see where they end up.
Yeah, that is my feeling. My feeling is they're kind of in negotiations, but they pretty much know what channel it's going to be on, and they know what day it's going to be on. I think they know a lot more than they're telling us, which is fine, because for me, it's like I love, like, in this world of news, 24/7 news cycle, 112 different wrestling rumor sites. It's kind of cool when someone doesn't know something.
Yeah, and
It's
you can tell from the Khan interview that he just kept laughing every time they asked him questions he couldn't answer, and I was like, man, he has so many plans that we don't know about.
Yeah, and it's like they're holding it close to the vest, and it's amazing. It's fun. It's like it leaves you guessing. So this whole schedule is like, it's awesome. I know there's going to be someone that goes to all of this. I mean, I can't. Like, with this short of notice, I can't make it out of the country. So I don't. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not even an ask. That's a no. That's not that. That's a no. That's a hard no from the fiance on that one. So, like, that's a hard no. But yeah, so a lot of my friends and the friends and members of the club are based in the UK, so I'm hoping they can make it there. So that'll be
and we have a couple shows here on the network based in the UK. Ricky and Clive are in Scotland, and we have Omega Luke who's in London. So I hope those guys will be able to get a chance to go to these shows.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to as much more information as that we can get on that, and so we're as we get information, we will release it on here. Man, it's a weird segue, but it looks like we were close to having our first loss from All Elite Wrestling before we even got to the first show. Last week at an AAW show, Ray Phoenix got injured, and it looked like he injured his neck. I am happy to report he did not wrestle the next night. Actually, Pentagon tagged with Sami Callihan to take on LAX the next night. But I am happy to report he was treated, released from the hospital with a muscle contusion. And that's a muscle in your neck, so that can't be good. But he'll be back to 100% after some rest. I just thought everyone should know that in case you hear any more information about Ray Phoenix. He got hurt, and he looks like he's okay. He took the weekend off at least.
Yeah, that Phoenix news was scary because they did the big angle at the ticket party with the Lucha Brothers attacking the Young Bucks, and that's potentially going to be the main event for Double or Nothing, and that's a big match. I mean, I believe it's been at least 1 or 2 years since the Bucks and the Lucha Brothers have had a straight up tag match. So I mean, this was a big anticipated rematch, and so when we heard Phoenix was hurt, I was like, oh crap. I hope it's nothing too serious. WrestleMania weekend's coming up, and he's on a bunch of shows that weekend, and then you got Double or Nothing with this big Young Bucks match. So I'm glad to hear that it wasn't too serious, and it's something where he can just take a couple weeks off, and that he'll be good to go for Mania weekend and Double or Nothing.
I saw the link on Twitter, and I don't want to sound dramatic at all, but I immediately held my breath because it was just like, this is such a big focal point of Double or Nothing as far as that match. Tag team wrestling being put on the same level as singles wrestling. You have the Young Bucks, one of the best tag teams in the world. You have the Lucha Brothers, one of the best tag teams in the world. Like, for me, or as a wrestling fan, you put that on at anywhere in the country, I'm figuring out a way to be there.
Yeah.
That's how big that tag match was. And to think for a moment, it felt like we might lose it because they were saying neck, and anytime they say neck, that's scary. They say neck injury, that's scary.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of neck injuries in wrestling over the years, and so yeah, you hear neck, you get worried. Is it broken? Is he going to be paralyzed? Is it going to be nerve damage? So yeah, I mean, a muscle contusion is probably the best thing that it could have been.
Yeah, because it was like I excelled, and I was like, okay, take time off. Which I know is weird for him because Phoenix and Pentagon wrestle like feel like every day. They're
Yeah,
on
those
someone's
guys.
show or whatever.
Yeah, those guys are literally all over the place every weekend. They're a part of Impact. They're a part of MLW. They wrestle in AAW, House of Glory. I mean, they do international stuff. They're in CMLL and AAA. I mean, these guys are literally everywhere. I'm surprised they don't get hurt more often, especially the style that they wrestle.
Yeah, I figured they didn't sign with the WWE because that would have been too light of a schedule for them. Good Lord,
Only 300 dates?
Yeah, I was like, dude, what am I supposed to do? It was like I think it was like during WrestleMania weekend, they wrestled like 2 or 3 shows in a day. It was like, yeah, good Lord, man. They work. They work. No one can call them lazy. No one can call them lazy. They work on a level that not a lot of people can compete with. Before we go over these week's shows, there was a big piece of news that dropped. I'm not going to go, I am going to take an episode when we have less news, and I'm going to go through everyone that's at Starrcast. But for this week, we're just going to get the big names, or at Starrcast, the big names, the biggest name being The Undertaker. Good Lord, did that break the internet? I feel like the wrestling internet, excuse me.
Yes, yeah. The wrestling Twitter melted with Undertaker showing up at Starrcast. The news that came out earlier that Undertaker was going to start doing outside bookings. He removed like any WWE mentions from his Twitter profile, Instagram profile, and there was reports that he's going to start taking all these convention bookings, like all legends do. And then out of nowhere, announced for Starrcast 2, Undertaker Mark Calloway. Yeah, it's just crazy to think about Undertaker being involved in Starrcast.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people's like Starrcast and Double or Nothing are 2 different things. I get it. They're 2 different things. Conrad owns Starrcast, the cons own AEW. But when you can buy ticket packages that have tickets to both shows in them, VIP ticket packages where you can sit in the first row and then you get 2 platinum bracelets and you got to buy 2 at a time. That seems like more than a casual relationship. You know what I mean?
Right. And we've seen Conrad on screen on both AEW press conferences. So, there's a good working relationship there.
Yeah, but what were you saying?
Go. I was saying, yeah, they're 2 different things, but the Undertaker, like the one of the biggest faces of WWE, is showing up at an event that is an association with potentially its next biggest competition. Yeah,
it's like it's not a leap. It's not a leap. I've seen that it's not a leap. It's not a leap. It's actually a very short line to how those 2 things connect, and it's just like, no, I understand it's a convention. It's completely separate. Undertaker's working convention, but I can see how someone that is not a super educated wrestling fan, he's going to AEW. I'm like,
Yeah.
I can see it. Is it right? No, but it's not that big a leap in logic.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, Undertaker just cares about making money, and I know he has a high asking price. I believe he's getting he asked for like $60,000 for like 3 hours or something like that. I think
$25,000 an hour is what I saw. That's what I get.
So he's he realizes his in-ring days are done, and he still wants to get some more money in the bank account. So he's hopping on the convention trail, And yeah, man, he's cashing out. He's getting a payday. So I doubt Undertaker really cares about that it's Starrcast or All Elite Wrestling. All he cares about, he's getting paid, and it's going to look good for him.
Yeah, he's doing a signing in Houston next month, which doesn't seem like it's WWE related. It might have still been booked through WWE. I don't know how that kind of stuff works. And it's $125 for an autograph, $125 for a photo op. And I was doing that, and I was like, well, if he's doing 2 hours, I was trying to do the math of how many that they would have to sign. It's like, so he does 2 hours. They would need to have 200 people pay for both just to pay him.
Jeez.
Just to pay him.
Yeah.
And that's them not getting a dime. That's just paying his number. And then, they would get whatever's after that. And they would have to move people through that line quickly, But he's going to get it, especially now. He was smart. He didn't do a lot of signings, didn't do a lot of appearances over the last few years. He'd show up at a Comic-Con here or something there. So getting his autograph still means something. If he does this for 2 or 3 years, he's not going to be able to ask for $25,000 an hour in 2022 because the hardcore people that wanted to meet him would have met him by now, and that number's going to come down. Every number eventually comes down, or he just won't do it, one or the other. But it's just, he's striking while the iron's hot. I think it's genius for him.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a great business move for him. But, it's still kind of weird just seeing the Undertaker, tweet out of character and showing up in all these places. I'm just so used to him being so protective of that gimmick and not doing interviews and appearances, and now he's all over the place and he's tweeting, and it's just kind of weird.
Yeah, just imagine this: if him and Mick Foley do like a Hell in a Cell retrospective, how much would that sell in every city that they go to? Because that's all everyone ever wants to talk about, right?
Yeah, that would be a big draw. And also, I've been seeing a lot of fans joking about, him potentially starting his own podcast where he talks about his whole career. And just the thought of that's just weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I've liked that he doesn't break character that much. I actually like that.
I like it.
It takes me back to 10-year-old Floyd, who was terrified of that man. Terrified. I'm like, dude, I had dreams that the Undertaker was coming to take my soul, that kind of thing. When I was young, I was terrified of the Undertaker. And I've met him and I've gotten the autographs and all that stuff, and he was super nice, which was weird, It was so weird. He was in this one picture and he smiled, and I literally said, "Hey, no, that's not right. You're not supposed to smile." And he didn't smile on any more of the pictures. I'm like, no, you're the Taker. The Taker doesn't smile. No.
Right.
No, but no, that was a big coup for Conrad. Huge coup. He's got my favorite group of the Horsemen coming in. And, I thought I couldn't get more excited than that. It's going to be Flair, Wyndham, Anderson, and Blanchard. And, of course, J.J. Dillon's going to be with them. That's my favorite 4 horsemen. So I had a picture with the Horsemen last year. And some of you, if you happen to listen to any of the shows, you will know my favorite wrestler of all time, Arn Anderson. And I never got to meet him. So last year at Starrcast, I got to meet him. And I was like, dude, this is great. I just wish Flair was here. And, this year Flair and Wyndham are there. So
yeah, dude, Conrad did a great job. I'm looking at the list of the stars that you have here, and it's a lot of top talent that he's bringing in here. So, and man, dude, go ahead.
I was just saying, I was updating the doc like every 5 minutes. And I don't think I got every name. I think I'm missing Steamboat off the list.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. And dude, I want to be Conrad Thompson when I grow up. This guy is married to a Hall of Famer's daughter. He hosts some of the most popular wrestling podcasts, and he's running his own wrestling convention with the top stars from the 80s and 90s. Like, that's my dream. Like, I want to be Conrad.
Yeah, dude, Conrad is the best salesman, and I don't know if he's the best salesman in wrestling, but he's close.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he has made himself a big deal. I mean, top-rated podcast, Starrcast, just blowing anything Access can do out of the water. I mean, and like, I definitely, you know me, I've told you, I'm not into the comparing AEW and WWE. I think they're two different, they can line up against each other and it's fine, but they're not competing. I don't consider them competition. I consider them more of an alternative brand like McDonald's and Burger King or whatever, or Chick-fil-A.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
but, I mean, he's kicking Access's ass.
Yeah.
I'm like, seriously. I'm like, Access tickets go on sale last week, and then it's like, well, $200 to meet Ronda Rousey or whatever, and then that's what you pay. It is what it is. I will never complain because I don't have to pay it. So like, I don't have to go. And
right,
then it's like, you get $300, like $300, $100 more than that, you can go to all these events. And I'm not gonna sound like an infomercial again. We're gonna have episodes where we go over the stuff you can do, but just throwing it out there, they have Ric Flair and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat talking about their series of matches. I believe you could run that on a WrestleMania weekend in its own building and charge $100 a ticket.
Oh yeah, definitely. People would love to pay for that.
Jerry the King Lawler and Jim Ross do shows all the time where they charge $100 a ticket and they sell out. For $300, you can go to both of these shows. I mean, it's a good deal. Like I said, I'm not trying to shill or sell for Starrcast. I'm just saying, look at what these things individually would cost, and look at how much you have to pay.
Yeah, it almost falls in line with like the ticket pricing with the AEW event. They're trying to make Starrcast affordable as possible and kind of giving you the most bang for your buck.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks. Yeah, great pun right there. Bang for your buck. But yeah, it's amazing. Like, the first night you're there, you get the intimate thing with Cody and the Bucks. The first night you're there, and then you get those other things, and it's like supposedly going to be like 24 events. Like, like I said, I don't feel like this needs to sell. I feel like if you like wrestling and you go look at Starrcast and you like, man, I don't get enough for my $300. I don't think you understand what value is. Right. Like when I first saw it, I was like, well, I'm paying $300, and really what I'm paying for is the chance to pay more money to meet everybody before everybody else does. Then he starts rolling out his crap. It actually is blowing his own thing, like last year's Starrcast, out of the water. And that was probably one of the best weekends I've ever had as far as at a wrestling event. So it's like he's already kicking its ass. So he's doing a really good job. He says the only reason he's done this, he did an interview, and he said the only reason he could do this was because of Cody's belief in him. And it was just like, someone said on Twitter, they tagged Cody, and they was like, well, thanks for getting the Taker. And he said, that's all Conrad. So it's kind of funny. They both giving each other all the credit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just thought that was super cool. There's a couple notes I want to end on, but I'm going to just kind of quickly go through our shows this week. We got Being the Elite, and we had the Road to Double or Nothing episode 3, which is going to lead me to something I teased on Twitter earlier this week. I think I know. But BTE, this was the February 10th edition of it, because it came out on Sunday. It came out on late Sunday because there was a special reason for this at the end of the show. But you watched the episode with me. Like I said, I'm just going to kind of quick. What would you say was your favorite part of the episode? Did you have any laugh out loud moments?
Dude, the opening scene was hilarious to me when you had the Super Bowl, the off-screen guys, I forget their names, but they're like yelling at Nick Jackson to take off his Jaguars shirt because the Jaguars are not playing. It's a whole kind of playoff, all the reports of AEW shirts being made to take off at WWE events. And Nick's like, this is my only shirt. I don't have another shirt. Like, take it off, turn it inside out, and it's like giving him a hard time, like about getting the shirt off. Yeah, I was like dying laughing.
Because I remember when they first happened, that was the comparison. It was like, well, I went to a Thunder and Lakers game and I was wearing a Maverick shirt or something. And it was like, and they don't kick you out of the game for that. And it's like, yeah, WWE, I don't. It's like they don't know, and I don't. Like I said, I don't think Vince directly would have had that changed. I think this was
Yeah,
someone else because Vince knows. Vince has been in wrestling smart enough to know when you tell fans they can't do something, they want to do it more. So the moment
exactly.
you said turn that shirt inside out or take that shirt off, you just put AEW over.
Right now, more and more and more fans are going to want to do that.
Yeah, you have just made them an outlaw. You just made them banned. You made them everything that you don't do to a teenager. As soon as you make something where they can't do it, all they're gonna want to do. That's how wrestling fans are. Because we're all
Yeah,
kind of our teenage when we're watching wrestling, we're our best teenage selves. So it's like, yeah. So it's like, okay, when I saw that happening, I'm like, seriously, I went to Pro Wrestling Tees and had an AEW shirt in the cart, and I was like, you know what? Hold on. You had a plan, Floyd. You have a budget to stick to, so I didn't do it. But like, just general, that was my reaction. You told me I can't do something. When I go to WrestleMania, I'm going to nothing but AEW. That's what I was like.
going
That's how I was in my head.
going the hat, the hoodie, the
Yeah.
shirt.
Like, it's warm outside and I still have on the hoodie. I don't care. I don't care because you told me I couldn't. So, yeah, I was like, I don't think, like I said, when people's like, Vince did this, I was like, I guarantee you Vince didn't even know that was going on. Because Vince knows. He's smart enough to know that. He's been around long enough. If you tell him, he knows fans are. If you tell them to cheer, they boo. If you tell them to boo, they cheer. We're assholes at times. So he knows better. No, then
Yeah.
so Nick and Matt head to Atlanta to scout tag teams. A lot of people believe that this was they were going to Talk TV too, but they were in Atlanta and they were in the front of a store called Goldberg's.
Yes, I noticed that because I saw him talking in front of like a store. I didn't really pay attention, but then after like they were leaving, like the camera like panned over to the sign that said Goldberg's, and like I rewinded and I screenshotted it. I was like, that says Goldberg,
Yeah.
and I sent it into one of my group threads. I was like, they're teasing a Goldberg signing.
Oh, they are absolutely teasing it, and and I just thought I laughed. I laughed because I saw it, and I watched the show. And I know this is going to seem obsessive. I watch it 3 times a week because I know almost every time that I watch it the first time, it's like they post it online, and I watch it, and generally I'm doing something else. So they have generally a few subtle references in the show, so I don't want to miss it. So I watch it again. So I watch it again like Tuesday or Wednesday. And then I generally try to watch it right before we do the show now. Because like the first week I did the show, I couldn't remember anything from from the show that I watched early in the week. So I like to watch it right before I do the show so I can, speak freshly on it. So I generally watch the show 3 times a week all the way through, which is, of course, weird. But, yeah, so I was like, oh, I didn't catch Goldberg until the second time. So it was
I watched it the first time, and then I watched it again because I knew I was coming on this show, so I wanted to, like you said, be fresh on it. So yeah, I watched it 2 times this week. But yeah, I saw that Goldberg thing, and I was like,
Yes. I was like, yeah. It's like, yeah. And it's like, I kind of, that'd be kind of awesome if it was him. If he definitely shows up. Then Kaz and Cody are smoking a cigar. He tries to get through his Snickers story again. And then Christopher Daniels come up. He has a mouthpiece to cover his chipped tooth because they never have clean pictures of him. It's always blurred or he has something covered. This time he had a bandana, and they thought no, this time it was what was
yeah,
the
the
mouthpiece?
mouthpiece.
Yeah, to cover the
Yeah,
chipped
and
tooth.
they were making fun. Yeah, they're making fun. Are you doing a shooter gimmick now? Oh, shooter CD.
Yeah. And I just thought that was so hilarious because Cody was giving him shit, and that's if you know I'm a big Cody fan. My favorite thing is Cody giving people shit. My favorite
Yeah,
thing in the world.
he's great at it.
Yes, he is great at it. I'm like, he is great at giving people shit. Then we go to Hangman Cody and Pharaoh at a show in Atlanta. Paige, Cody, and Ryan are getting beat up. Joey Ryan. MJF makes the save. MJF gives so Cody turns around after MJF makes the save, and he's not looking at MJF. MJF just gives Paige the middle finger. This is like my favorite thing that's going on the show right now. It's just like every time Cody turns around, and it's like it sticks with the gimmick that Cody doesn't watch the show.
Right, exactly.
It sticks with it because they had the thing where Paige was like, "Dude, I just watched the show. That's how I know it happened." So it's like it sticks with the gimmick that Cody doesn't watch the show. So MJF gives Paige the middle finger when Cody's not looking, and when Cody turns around, he just automatically hugs him like, "Oh, we're best friends," and it's fucking hilarious to me. Oh God, I love MJF. I love MJF.
I love MJF also. I think he's the perfect heel. And I'm loving this whole little storyline that they've been doing on BTE with him and Cody.
Yeah, like at Double or Nothing, I just had this image in my head. I know they're going to do something more with him probably. He should just walk around the crowd on the mic and make fun of people. It would just that would just be everything to me. I know people will probably get sensitive and not like it, but I just think he just does his character so well. It's like it's very few people that fully embodies a character like that, and it's just like I just love his character work. I mean, his ring work,
right?
Honestly, old school. So at times it can connect with me, but a lot of times it doesn't. So, but put him on a mic. I'm there. Take my money now.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Then we get Joey Janela's segment, and somehow he's going to be a farmer because he's blind. He has burned his eyes twice, and he decides he's going to be a farmer. So he's trying to farm. He feeds pigs who somehow attack him. And then he's trying to plow a field in a plow blind. So he runs into something, and then somehow he has flash paper in his pocket and sets himself on fire yet again.
Yeah, these Janela segments have just been getting more and more ridiculous every week, and it's just hilarious. It started off simple, I think, with the basketball thing, and then now we're getting to the point where he's trying to be a farmer, and he's blind because he keeps getting fire in his eyes, and it's just so ridiculous.
It's like the anti Mr. Perfect vignettes. Instead of being great at everything, he's not good at anything else other than beating people to a pulp. Cody and the Bucks berate Joey about having to come to save him. I love this little thing where they kept saying, "Well, we have to fly out here private, and I'm the executive vice president." And then he says, "I'm the executive vice president." I love that because a common thing online is that there's way too many executive vice presidents. Well, I work for major companies. I'm going to let you know. With some companies, there's like 50 vice presidents.
Right, they all have their own specialty, their own department kind of thing.
So like 4 is really not a lot. But they talk about having to save him, and Joey said he will have to defend himself better. They say, "What happened to that blonde chick that used to always have your back?" Shout out to Candice LeRae. I thought that was hilarious.
They're like, "Where's your blonde tag team partner? Where is she?"
Yes, that was awesome. And then the cameraman, they all leave, and then the cameraman beats up Joey, which I didn't get why, but it was kind of funny.
Yeah,
I was like, I wonder if that MJF, because he likes to beat people up, when Cody's not looking. A cool thing, SCU's auctioning off their SCU Rams shirts for charity. And they talk about Super Bowl perks being Super Bowl tickets being a perk of knowing the Khan family. Matt's first football game is the Super Bowl. After the Rams lose, SCU does. This is the worst Super Bowl I've ever been to gimmick. Then we end. The reason it was a day earlier because the pre-sale started on Monday, and it would Hangman Page, kind of, who they're gonna push as their guy. He introduced the Double or Nothing seat map, and then after they did that, Alpha and Omega were made official for Double or Nothing. Oh yeah, the seat map was beautiful. It was beautiful. When I saw the prices, I said this is gonna sell out again in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
super affordable.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier in the show. Yeah, they're doing a great job. They did a great job of All In. Now, once again, with Double or Nothing, they're doing a great job of making the ticket super affordable for all wrestling fans.
Yeah, absolutely. Then we get the this week we got Double or Nothing, episode 3, which is very much the behind the scenes on the building. They're not really in character when they're doing the Double or Nothing episodes. That is the difference between BTE and Road to Double or Nothing. So this was episode 3. It's a much shorter episode. They're usually about 5 to 7 minutes, but every time it's generally some kind of big reveal. So in this one, we start with the Bucks talk about putting everything on the line, about how much they're committed to AEW, and then Kenny Omega shows up late and he joins, and he's like, "Yeah, we couldn't have done this without Kenny," which was awesome. Then they showed some clips from the ticket on sale party. Kenny says there's no way they can fail because of the passionate fans, which, like I said, that's to me, I've been saying that since we started the show. The reason AEW is going to at least initially succeed is because their fan base is very, very passionate. And I was trying to find, maybe you can help me, trying to find something to compare it to. Because I wanted to say, like, the Juggalos, but there's such a negative connotation with the Juggalos that I didn't want people that listen to the shows to stab me. But it's just this weird, like, they do a great job of making you feel like you succeed when they succeed.
Yeah, they kind of take you along with the journey, and they make you feel like a crucial part of their success.
Yeah, I was like, I've compared them to a boy band. That's always been my thing, is I've compared them to a boy band, like NSYNC or Backstreet Boys. You have these group of people that will follow them everywhere. They all have different personalities. Generally, you can be a Bucks fan without liking Cody. You can be a Cody fan without liking Kenny. You know what I mean? You can go around and you can, like, generally, if you don't like the Elite, it's generally something else. You don't like how popular they are. You might feel like, they're taking away from someone else that you like or whatever. But generally, their personalities are so different that you can usually at least find one you identify with. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think that's what it is. It's just like the Elite as a group, they're very much like a family, but like a family, all of them are unique in a way, and it's kind of weird. And Cody says it feels like a revolution, which definitely it does. It definitely feels like a revolution. Britt Baker makes a call to Brandy. Brandy leaves it on the speakerphone, which I thought was cool. And Britt felt like, she was like, it looks like they're about to do, Nyla Rose and Kylie Ray are about to do their thing, and she feels left out. Brandy says, she just wants a moment. She just give her a moment to think. She says women's wrestling is in a boom right now. It's not at the highest, but it's moving up, and she thinks it's important to highlight the women's division, which of course, and Cody brings the promo photos from some of the matches from Double or Nothing. One of the photos, the big reveal, because there's always a big reveal, is Nyla Rose versus Kylie Ray versus Britt Baker in a triple threat match. Cody says it's kind of weird that that Brandy didn't book herself, and she's like, no, the focus needs to be on them now, and the women, and them in the women's division. Which I think is very selfless of her, And so I hope if Cody's on the show, she'll probably be on the show. That kind of.
Yeah, she'll probably be like Cody's manager in his match.
Yeah. So we get another promo picture, and Cody, and then we get a blurred picture, and Brandy says, "Is this for real? You're gonna do this without telling me?" And they leave us there with a cliffhanger. Cliffhanger. So I teased on the page, and I think I have it figured out. And I might be completely wrong. And they might not even, let me make it clear, they might not have even decided who it is yet. You know what I mean? They might not have decided who it is. That's why they blurred it. But hence the first episode where the guy calls and Cody's like, I don't want to talk to him, and blows him off, and it says it's kind of personal. Well, you watch BTE, right, Jeremy?
Yes, sir. I watch it every week.
Who does Cody hate? It's one person he hates.
Mr. Flip Gordon?
Yes! He hates Flip Gordon. That is the reaction he gives anytime anyone mentions Flip Gordon. His whole goal was to keep Flip Gordon out of All In. Then Flip had the nerve to turn down a spot in the Elite. The nerve, because he said his dream was to be in the Bullet Club. Another insult to Cody Rhodes. Very personal insult to Cody Rhodes. Then, who would Brandy get mad about him booking without telling her? Her storyline best friend, Flip Gordon. Those are my strings to let me believe that it is Flip Gordon. Am I reaching, sir?
Those are some very interesting. I did not think about Flip Gordon, but what you kind of pulled out does make sense. The only thing that would stop me from thinking it's Flip was a couple things. First of all, as far as I'm aware, Flip Gordon is under a Ring of Honor contract, so I'm not sure how that would work out with him competing on Double or Nothing, being under Ring of Honor contract. And then secondly, I just feel like the way that they've been hyping this up on these Road to Double or Nothing episodes, I feel like it's going to be something a little bit bigger than Flip Gordon. And no offense to Flip Gordon. I love Flip Gordon. He's one of my favorite guys in Ring of Honor. But I feel like it's going to be somebody a little bit more name value than Flip.
Absolutely. You know what? I can say I thought that. The reason I thought Flip would be such a big deal is because if they announce Flip, they could announce somewhat of a working relationship with ROH, which would be the bigger deal. That would make this a huge impactful deal. And of course, I had listened to Kenny Omega's conversation, and he said we are literally willing to work with anybody, even the WWE. At no point did anybody rule out working with ROH. And it would do nothing but help ROH to have one of their wrestlers on one of the biggest shows one of the biggest shows in May, where a time where they're not like doing a lot of huge shows.
Yeah, I mean that would be great for them, getting that exposure and announcing a working relationship. That'd be a very interesting twist.
I don't feel like they're doing a lot with him in ROH either. And he's not even, is he hurt or something?
Yeah, yes, he had a minor tear in either his MCL or ACL during their Texas tour a couple of weeks ago, or actually I think it's probably like a month or two ago now. But he's going to be cleared to wrestle at MSG.
Okay. Because I was looking at the New Japan ROH shows, and I didn't see him on there. I looked at their scheduling results. I didn't see him on there. I even scrolled back on this page, and I didn't see him say anything about the injury. But I guess I didn't scroll further enough back. So that's where that.
Yeah, it's been a while since he got. I believe it has to be at least 2 months by now. I think, because I know it was a while ago. Yeah. It was during their Texas tour that he tore either his MCL or ACL.
Yeah. Well, that being said, I'm still sticking with it. Got to live out on a limb. Maybe they do a bigger name. Of course, I would want them to do a bigger name. But I love Flip Gordon. I think he's he is very much has that baby face feel to him. He has that he has that thing. He has that Daniel Bryan thing where you want to root for him to succeed. Even when he was wrestling Cody and they had their match and Cody cheated to win or whatever, I kind of felt bad for Flip Gordon. And, I always want Cody to win. I don't really care how he does it. I want him to win. And I actually felt bad for Flip Gordon. So if you generally make me feel bad for you in a match where you're wrestling Cody, you've done a pretty good job. But I've gotten a lot of opinions. A lot of people think whoever, they haven't announced who it's going to be. The person that it's going to be, they haven't announced. That would be that would be interesting. Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, so there are two people who I think that could potentially be. The first person, I feel like it could be Goldust, Cody's older brother, because in the Double or Nothing episode they say this call is personal. It doesn't get more personal than family, right? So could be his brother Dustin calling him, hey, let's have this big match. And then, we see Brandy's reaction. She's like, are you serious? Because obviously, as far as we all know, Goldust is still under WWE contract as an agent. And, everybody thinks he's in WWE. And so it would be a big surprise if he's working Double or Nothing and he somehow is leaving WWE. And this is going to be his big first kind of outside appearance of WWE. So I think there's definitely potential. And they never did the real big brother versus brother match. They had that random match at Fastlane that one year, Goldust versus Stardust, but it wasn't the big deal that it should have been. So I definitely think we could be seeing the Rhodes brothers clash. The other person I think it could be Bill Goldberg. We saw him being the Elite, the Goldberg tease. Goldberg was in WCW, and I'm sure he had some kind of relationship with Cody's dad, Dusty Rhodes. And I'm sure Cody, being a WCW mark growing up, he would love the opportunity to wrestle their biggest star, Goldberg, at Double or Nothing.
And you know what? And those are two guesses I had heard, online. Not Goldberg, more of the Goldust. So not two guesses, one guess. I honestly just wanted to be different. I was like, you know what? Let me try to think someone else that it could be. Because like I said, Goldust was this kind of one, and I don't really want it to be Goldust, because
Yeah.
As much as believe me, I love Dustin Rhodes, I love Dustin Runnels. I mean, he's old, he's like he kind of goes against exactly what you said you were gonna do,
Right.
But again, it's a big event. I would not, thumb my nose at it. I would like it to be a situation, and I think this would be cool. It already sold out. You don't have to tell us who it is. Don't tell us who it is until the event. That would be so awesome. I just think that would be so awesome. The music hits, and and the big reveal at the event who it is. But they're gonna tell us. They're gonna, because you only can tease us so long. I think they're gonna tell us. But my guess is Flip Gordon. We'll see if I'm right. I'm living out on that limb, and sometimes that limb breaks, So, no, but basically, let me see. I don't think I've missed anything. I think I've covered anything. I think everyone should go watch Chris Jericho's promo on his page, his AEW. He basically says he sold out the event. We've talked about that before, but I don't just listen to what I'm saying. It's a classic wrestling promo. You watched it, right?
Yes, I did. Yeah, Jericho, full alpha heel mode, taking full credit for selling out the event. Everybody's coming to see him, and so yeah, it's definitely worth your time to go watch that promo.
It is a master's class in getting heat, kind of the right way. It wasn't cheap heat. It was I'm better than you heat.
and he still also in getting he still put some people over in a way, because he's mentioning these names, and he's still, that's what a great promo does, and a great heel. Like, yes, you want to say you're better than your opponent and somewhat, but you also kind of want to raise your opponent up. Otherwise, like, why are you even facing them? So
yeah, he what?
Go ahead.
I was just saying, he gave you that I want to punch you in the face heat, which is what you want from a heel.
Yeah.
You want to see them get punched. That's the sell of heels. But the last two things I want to talk about is we got a couple
But
messages from Kenny Omega and Brandy. What were you going to say, sir, before we go to that?
so real quick before we get to those, since we're talking about Jericho, real quick, the Jericho Cruise has been announced for January of 2020, and instead of partnering with Ring of Honor this year, no surprise, he will be partnering with All Elite Wrestling for the Jericho Cruise.
Yes. That was a note that came out yesterday, and I guess I didn't update that. My plan was to go. I am getting married in July, and through the love of my fiance, she's like, we're gonna do the little Destin thing in July, and then we're gonna do the Jericho Cruise. Well, it was a lot later than I thought, so it's going to be right in the middle of her school semester. So I don't think I'll be making the Jericho Cruise. You going to try to go this time?
I was planning on going, but it's in January, and I'm also planning on going to Wrestle Kingdom, and that's
would be
going to
too
cost
close.
some money.
Yes, that would be too close.
With time off and just money, I don't know if I could pull off Jericho Cruise and going to both days of Wrestle Kingdom. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and you see what I don't know if they meant to do this, but they still left that January 4th period open in case Jericho and Kenny can work something out with New Japan. Which shout out to the young boy Josh, who gave me credit for saying that Kenny Omega would 100% have that clause in that contract that he could work with New Japan, and I was right. There was no way that the clause wasn't going to be in there.
Yeah, him and Jericho have that clause, and if you look at the New Japan roster on their website, njpw1972.com, all of AEW wrestlers are off their profiles except Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho.
Absolutely, because they can still work with New Japan, and like I said, I just think, it's a slow burn. To me, New Japan is known for the slow burn, and I think sometimes we're going to get that from AEW. Announcing, like, they could have announced the partnership of New Japan, and that would have been great. But now they've sold out without New Japan partnership. Let's say they run 4 or 5 shows without New Japan partnership. And like that first live TV, they announced a deal with New Japan. That's how you pop a number.
Yeah.
Make people think there is no way that it could happen. No way, because they've counted it out because of the AAA deal, and they keep counting them out, and it's just like you're going to keep doubting the elite. Keep doubting them, please, because then they can keep changing your mind. Because they said they're not out to change the world anymore; they're out to change the universe, and the only way to change the universe is to think differently.
Exactly.
So anybody can show up anywhere. That is great wrestling. That is when wrestling is great. All right, so we got 2 quotes. Basically, I saw when Cody was talking about tickets, people asked the question, was All Elite going to put out a statement saying, that people are going to be safe at their shows? Mostly comes from a lot of people, a lot of fringe people that I don't even consider fans, attacking Nyla Rose, kind of going after. And they was like, are people going to be safe? And Cody says, he didn't even think about putting out a statement because he didn't want to put that energy out there. He didn't want to give those people a voice. So he's like, All Elite's going to put a message out. Before I talk about the really kind of the official one from Kenny Omega, he says, and this was in response to people talking to Cody, our absolute top priority is to create the best environment possible for all performers, fans. Though inappropriate comments on social media can't be filtered, we will work diligently to create ways to make the message clear that they will not be tolerated. Fun plus safety equals win for all. And then Brandy, and this is the one we're going to kind of end on because I think it's super important. As we look ahead to Vegas, let's take this opportunity to make it clear that AEW is totally inclusive. We fully support and celebrate all of our athletes and all of our fans, regardless of their sexual orientation, race, gender, religion, or ethnicity, period. A safe, inclusive, respectful, and very cool environment will be central to everything we do at AEW. Be who you are and come as you are, because we're all going to come together as a community to change the world. And I just wanted to make it clear that that's how I see it. I literally love professional wrestling. That is my passion. That is what I wake up for. I'm like, that is what gives me peace in life. And when I'm dealing with wrestling, I don't like the outside world to be involved. I like to be in my wrestling bubble. So I don't care who's to the left of me or to the right of me watching it, as long as we're all enjoying the show and having the fun. And I don't kind of care, exactly what's the sexual orientation, gender, or whatever of the people I'm watching perform, because as long as they're putting on a good show, that's all that matters to me. So I just wanted that to be very clear. It's like that, wrestling is beautiful. It is my favorite art. It is my, kind of my favorite sport too. So it's just, I'm not trying to be on soapbox. It's just, I don't want that outside shit in there. I don't know how you feel about it, Jeremy.
No, I'm on the same boat with you, man. I've been watching wrestling since I was like 2 or 3 years old and have never stopped. I'm very passionate about professional wrestling. And at the end of the day, I just want to see great professional wrestling. I don't care, who's in there, what color skin they are, their gender, religion, any of that stuff. If you are a great professional wrestler and can put on a great professional wrestling match, I want to see it. When they step in the ring, they're just wrestlers. And I was an amateur wrestler in high school, and we had to wrestle girls if they were in our weight class. And my coach would always tell me, when they step on the mat, they are no longer a girl. They are a wrestler, and you will wrestle them like any other wrestler. And that's how I see it with professional wrestling. Once these guys and girls step into the ring, they are wrestlers, and they will wrestle each other regardless of their race, skin color, gender, religion, any of that stuff.
And that's the best way to be respectful, is just to treat people as people. I mean, all these other constructs that we have made up to separate us, people are just people. Just be good to people. That's all. But next week, we have our first interview on the show. We'll be talking to the biggest Cody fan I know, and you will, if you ever see Cody's comments, you'll see her. Her name is Tiffany. She is at All Elite Tiffany. She will talk about her experience with Cody and her following of the Elite. I know she's going to be first row at Double or Nothing and has a platinum bracelet, so she is definitely all in Double or Nothing, or she's all about the Elite. So it'd be cool. That was something I promised at the beginning, that the fans are what brought the Elite to where they are. So a lot of my interviews will not try to be insider interviews. It will be more talking about the fan experience and why people are passionate about the Elite. So I hope you definitely enjoy that interview. Thank you for being on the show with me this week, Jeremy.
Oh, no problem. Like I said, man, I'm always chomping at the bit to talk about wrestling, and I'm chomping at the bit to talk about All Elite Wrestling. I'm an Elite mark. I love those guys. I already have my first AEW T-shirt, and I'm ready for this thing to blow up.
All right. Well, I will leave you with this. No matter what you do, no matter where you work, no matter who you are, always try to be elite.